Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC. With your host E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up. Cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy. And listen to a show that won't be forgotten. Coming straight out of Gotham.
And hello, everyone out in the DC universe. It's been a while, you guys. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 117. We are a fandom pop culture podcast and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, brought to you by Batman on Film. To check out all the other great shows of the network, head on over to BOF, click the podcast drop down, and we will show you a wonderful selection of shows for you to choose from, all of them by wonderful people who, actually know what they're talking about, unlike some of the people you guys listen to. Let me introduce myself. I'm your co-host from the other side of the Hudson River, and it's a beautiful day today in New Jersey. Senior contributor to Batman on Film. I am Peter Arvera, and today we're recording on May 13th. 2023, and as always, I have a great show for you today. But before we get into good stuff, I'd like to remind you, all of our faithful listeners, if you take the time to review this show on Apple Podcasts and we read your review on air, you just won a Straight Outta Gotham monthly prize pack. So please get on over to iTunes and write those reviews. Now, let me introduce you to my partner in crime, the man who hit 96 consecutive blindfolded free throws in the Montauk Memorial High School free throw contest. Ladies and gentlemen, a Batman on Film junior contributor, Eric Quincy Holzman.
Quincy?
Yeah, your parents like Quincy Jones. What do you want me to do?
All right.
I didn't name you.
Or maybe the show Quincy. Do you remember that show, Quincy?
About the doctor? Your age.
I am showing your age. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry. I'm sure there are people out there who do remember that.
It was back in 1954, before we had color TVs.
I'm sure people out there do remember the show Quincy. So if you do, let me know. But yeah, those free throws, man. I can't do it anymore. But there was a time.
You don't have the same flick of the wrist?
There was a time. Just not enough practice. That's all. But I can shoot free throws probably still better than half the NBA. So I'm not,
Do you think you shoot free throws better than Julius Randle?
No, he's pretty good at those. Definitely better than Mitch Robinson, though. I definitely think he's better than Mitch Robinson. That's not.
We're getting the side effects of all mixed up here from last night.
Yeah.
It's overflowing from the top.
The Knicks bowed out, unfortunately. Had a good run. Just they exceeded expectations this year. So part of me, like I told you before we came on, is I'm not that upset about it. But when you get there, you still kind of want to win. So the fact that they didn't sucks. But what are you gonna do?
But it's not all bad news in basketball land, because the GOAT advanced to the Western Conference Finals by defeating the champions last night. That's right, LeBron James, people, very well might be contending for another championship. Woo!
This is not a conversation I'm going to have, because he's not the GOAT. But that's not.
I wish you could see how miserable Eric looks talking about LeBron James. It
that's
makes
neither
me
here nor there.
warm inside. Look at, he's so distraught. His veins, wrinkles, everything that makes a person mad on a meme. You can see it in Eric's face right now.
I'll say he's probably the GOAT for your generation, so that's fine. I'll let you say that. But
there's me and Eric live 40 generations apart.
Michael Jordan, as much as I hate him and can't stand him, Michael Jordan is the best basketball player to ever grace the planet. There's no debate, no discussion. He's the best.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So that's it.
LeBron.
That's all I'm going to say about that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We'll just leave it there. Okay. Keep going.
It's going to make a lot of people upset because the Lakers are advancing.
I'm not upset that they're advancing. Things kind of fell.
You may not, but a lot of people hate the Lakers.
I don't. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Lakers. Let's see if they can beat Denver. Let's see.
What are you thinking? Oh my God, I'm feeling like Philly's coming out of the East. Every other Philly sports team has made it to the championship round except for the Flyers. So I just feel like the Sixers are destined this year. The Eagles and the Phillies both went to theirs. So it seems like every so many years, one of these cities just has like one year where every one of their teams makes it, or 3 out of 4.
Yep.
It's really weird.
It does. I mean, you had Tampa Bay a few years ago.
LA, I
Yeah,
feel like a couple years ago, right? They had the
yeah,
Rams, the Dodgers, and the Lakers.
yeah. No, I mean, definitely, it definitely does seem that that's been the
Boston
case
had a couple of those runs.
recently. So, I don't know who I think would. I still think Boston can win the series. I think Boston can be. I don't want them to. I mean, of all the teams that remaining in the East, I hate all of them. So I really don't care. I do not care who makes it.
Yeah, it's definitely right. The Knicks fan is
Uh,
probably. Oh, I don't know. Rooting for Denver.
yeah, I'm rooting for Denver.
I'd
That's what I'm
say
rooting
most of
for.
the country's probably rooting for Denver.
Yeah, I would say
You
so.
got a fraction that hates the Lakers. You got a fraction that hates the Celtics, and then you have people who just hate Philadelphia in general.
Yeah, and
So
then Miami might. The thing that bothers me about them is not only the history between the Knicks and the Heat obviously plays into it for me, but
mhm.
it's such a terrible sports town. Like they didn't even sell last night. There was a clinching game in Miami, and they didn't even sell out.
I, I don't know.
It's
It's
just a
beautiful
bad
weather.
sports town.
A lot of people, yeah, I don't know. People say that about Atlanta too.
It
You
is a
know,
bad sports town, except
you
for
know,
the
I always
college
get,
football. Yeah,
yeah. Well, that's different. It's a different animal down there, and same thing goes for Miami. You know, like the Hurricanes probably sell out, and they probably,
yeah,
are
yeah.
horrible sometimes. So that fits into that mold as well. I used to think like places like LA, Miami, people go to the beach instead of the game, but then you throw in places like Atlanta, which is supposed to be a horrible sports town too, but there's no beach there, so I
No,
can't figure that out. And
no.
then over on the hockey side, the Devils got eliminated this week too, which was rough,
Yeah, that sucked.
by
I was
Carolina,
rooting
and
for them.
that's usually Carolina's like kind of a rival of the Devils. Like I remember kind of the
Yeah.
late 2000s, or I would say early 2000s, the end of the Devil run. Carolina was always playing against the Devils in
Hmm.
like this first or second round, so that's a bit of a bummer. But Florida looks really good. I don't know why everyone's really surprised they won the President's Trophy last year.
I know.
So I'm kind of like, yeah, they didn't repeat that, but it's still the same, good team. And I feel like they're destined to make a run at the Cup, right? Like I just think they're going to the final.
The Canes?
Florida,
Oh, Florida.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they squeaked in, but this is more proof that in hockey it really doesn't matter where you're seated. You can any team if a goalie gets hot, usually that could carry
I
you
thought
through.
Schmid was that guy
I
because he
did
came
too.
the first two games against the Rangers. Like, oh wow, the Devils have the hot goaltender this
Yeah.
postseason. This is going to be fun, and it didn't work out. They ended
No.
up having no goaltender, which I said all year. Vanacek
Yeah.
kind of played out of his mind, but he wasn't good in the big moment. But yeah, and then I forget what's happening. I think Edmonton has the lead over Vegas. Is that what's going on? Or no?
Seattle was playing. Hold on.
I forget what happened last night, but I knew Florida did win.
Yep. And Florida won. So hold on.
And I was like, man, they're. I miss
No,
the old.
Vegas is up 3-2 now. They beat Edmonton.
Oh, I got it backwards. Okay.
So they're up 3-2. And then Dallas is up on the Kraken. They're up 3-2.
Yeah. Oh wow. Can you imagine a Dallas Panthers Stanley Cup final?
Oh, I'm sure the NHL would love that.
Well, Bettman moved everybody out there. He's the reason why the Coyotes now play in a college building.
That's true.
Let's take the Jets and move them to Phoenix. Even 20 years later, it sounds like a dumb idea.
I don't know.
Like, why
It's
doesn't
weird.
I don't know, North Dakota have a hockey team?
It's
Like,
true.
Why didn't they expand to like the colder towns in America? Why did he try to go to the desert?
I don't know. They go where the people are because they figure people will go just because it's something to do.
You think people won't go because it's too cold in North Dakota?
But that's what I mean. I'm like, that's the sport they play, so there should be a team there, right? Like you should have a team in North Dakota, right?
I mean, I get you want to have a team in the Phoenix area, but they don't even play there. Like, didn't they play like Scottsdale for a while too? Like,
it's not smart. But again, look at the Golden Knights. Obviously, at the time they were the only professional team in Vegas, so that was the draw. But now you have the Raiders there.
See, the thing about the Knights are they never had that expansion year.
No, they've been good since they came in.
They were created and they went to the final their first year. So
I know. So that's what I mean. So like that, it proves that in that area, you can in warm weather areas, like you can have good teams. Tampa Bay Lightning are another example. They are great. They're a great franchise. They won what, 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 2 in a row, I think.
2.
And
They
then,
lost the third.
so I mean, they've been great as well. But you're right. It would make more sense to put a hockey team in the where the hockey hotbeds are in the country, and we literally.
Yeah,
I mean, outside of the Northeast, I can't think of the other places other than Minnesota, North Dakota, like you said, North Dakota, South Dakota.
Yeah,
Those areas.
I don't know, but the desert.
Yes. Well, okay, enough with the sports. Let's move forward into what we normally talk about. What we
Justin's
normally
like,
do
guys,
here.
you shut up. I don't know what I'm talking. What are you talking about? Jesus, like, I'm just trying to drink my coffee cup in my car. Oh God, it's crazy.
We try and bring a little bit of everything to you guys in case you're not paying attention. Pete and I feel it's our job to let you know what's going on in all forms of entertainment, and sports is technically entertainment. So here we go. We're going to bring you a little bit of that. We didn't even talk about the Yankees because there's really nothing to talk about right now. So let's just be quiet, and we'll let that unfold on its own. We'll talk about that.
I hope it folds upon itself.
All right. So obviously a lot of news is happening right now, but the biggest news probably in all of entertainment is the writer's strike. There's a lot of technical issues that they're debating over. And it does. I mean, if we remember from 2007, it puts everything on a pause, or, things that are done can be, finished and completed, but things that aren't written, obviously, and in the process of being written, are on pause now. So there's a ton of things that they're impacted that way. Basically, one of the concerns I keep reading is transparency on viewership, artificial intelligence impacting the writing. Those are two of the big deals.
Like, what do they mean by that? They talk about like spell check? Like, what do they mean? Is somebody they make a program that just writes? Like,
well,
that's interesting.
With the advent of ChatGPT and all of these other high level AI things we have now, writers are afraid that you can just ask it to write a story and it'll do it for you. Give it the facts it needs and it'll write it for you, and you don't need to worry about it. So that takes them out of the equation.
I feel like people have done that before and it's always come out pretty bad.
Well, that's really, I think, where the discussion lies. Like, how good are they going to be at it? So much so that you can remove a writer from that. And that's probably what the Recording Academy, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, the producers, that's probably what they're saying. Like, look, even if we use it, it's never going to replace you, but it does impact what they get paid.
That's what they said to like factory workers and automotive plants when they started inventing like machines and assembly lines. Like, oh no, we can't possibly replace people until like 10 years later.
Yes. There's a lot of stuff in this, a lot of data that you'd have to pour over. You guys, Pete and I posted the THR article that goes into it, what both sides are asking for. The biggest take I took from it is the WGA's proposal said the writers would gain an estimated $429 million per year, but the producers' offers only coming in a gain of about $86 million. That is a huge gap.
Yeah, because it's probably going to come out of their pocket. Like they don't make enough money.
So I don't know how this is going to eventually play out. Normally these cooler heads prevail. Obviously these people want to continue doing what they're doing, and the producers do understand the impact of what the writers want. So there's a lot of things. Also, there's a lot of discussion around residuals and what's the rate for that. Mini rooms, which is basically saying that for every single production, there has to be a certain number of writers in a room that you have to pay for in staff. That's something else that the writers want. I don't know enough about it to get that in depth. I mean, I have done in my life, I have been part of negotiations before, but not on this level. So I really would be crazy if I gave any kind of insight or personal opinion. All I know is that for a while, guys, we're going to have to pay attention to this because it's going to impact the things that we like to watch.
I will say this, as a union man, give them hell. Don't back down. Screw them. Get it for every cent you can do. Get everything you get.
I agree. I think everyone should be paid what they're worth, and that's just a writer. To me, we don't have any of this stuff if we don't have the writers.
Yeah.
So pay them a fair amount and logically address their issues that they have problems with, whether it's the artificial intelligence or whatever. Yeah, make sure you do that. And get it done, man. This is there's enough money for everybody. We know how much these things generate. Streaming, obviously, that's the other thing. The transparency on the viewership is something that we all have wanted to know, right? And none
We've
of
all
us
been
know.
guessing. Like
Yeah.
you get things that tell you, like, what is it, Samba TV? But it's like it's never 100% accurate. Like, and
Right.
then some places they reach out through the trades and a press release, and you're like, can I trust that?
Right. And then I understand why the producers don't want it to get out. I get it.
Yeah, well, don't make shit.
Yeah.
That's simple. There you go. Put you on the spot. Do your job. Earn your keep, kid.
Yeah. There's always give and take. So we have to, eventually they'll get there. But man, that gap, that is a huge, that is a huge gap. So even in the percentage of increase, it was 655 for the WGA, and it was 4332 for the studios over the course of the contract. So there's definitely wiggle room there to be made. I'm sure concessions will be made on both sides, like there always is. But while this is going, there are going to be things that are shelved. Like we're going to hear about that up and coming. So one of the things we already heard, this production seems to just be having tons and tons of problems, but Blade will be paused because of the writer's strike. So
Blade feels like the new Flash.
It really does. It really
It'll
does.
come out in like 4 years.
Yeah. I don't understand. But okay, if the story's not written, or this new version of the story isn't written.
Well, it was written, it's been rewritten, and now because of the strike, it's not being written anymore.
Yeah.
And then I believe, aren't they going to rewrite it after the strike? Isn't that kind of the plan? So aren't they, I guess they're hiring another writer. I don't know. Like I'm kind of confused at this point.
Well, Nick Pizzolatto, who wrote True Detective, he was recently hired to write the script, but he hasn't written it in time.
Yeah, it makes it seem like since the pause, they're going to even ditch his script before it even got started.
Yeah, we'll see.
And we'll see. It's just weird. He was hired the day before. Like one day it's like, oh, Blade's got a new writer. And then the next day it's like, Blade's on hiatus.
Yep. But I mean, obviously, the most obvious things that have been impacted by the strike are the late night talk shows. All of those have been, been showing reruns. Saturday Night Live as well. Apparently, Billions on Showtime, which is a show that I love, had to halt production. So that the only studio that seems to have things going still is Marvel. New World Order is still filming. Agatha Coven of Chaos is also shooting in Atlanta.
I guess you just don't expect any on-set rewrites.
Yeah. Deadpool 3 is supposed to start in London. Thunderbolts is supposed to start in Atlanta in June. And as of now, all of this is still on track. So it seems like Marvel is even immune to the writer's strike in some form. So
I wonder if this will affect the CW Flash show.
Huh?
I wonder, just like it seems like they make these shows in like clusters of like 3 or whatever. They make 3 and 3 on air. They make it's like.
But didn't they finish filming though?
I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have to, rewrites or anything.
Or, you mean in post if they notice things? That's possible.
Yeah.
That's possible. Curious. That's possible. I didn't even think of that. But that's a good call. So
I don't know if TV shows do reshoots and stuff like that. Now that I think of it, I feel like I never heard of that. The Flash is doing reshoots for the final episode. Like, wait, what?
The one Marvel project that could be shelved, depending on how long the strike takes, is Fantastic Four.
Are you surprised?
No, but that's one project that, of course, it's the one that I think a lot of people are waiting for.
With the history of that franchise, I'm not surprised at all at this point.
Yeah, but it doesn't it doesn't surprise me at all. But we will still get some content, obviously, guys. So there'll be stuff coming out.
How is the new Pokemon show Holzimon coming?
Is still in very, very, very early production.
Okay, so you guys haven't even hired writers yet.
No
Okay,
writers.
so you're good. You're still moving along.
Besides me, there's no other
Okay.
writer right now.
Okay, all right.
I'm the only one that's doing it.
Holzimon Go is still
Reno too. Reno's been cast as Reno's writing a couple episodes.
Really? Well, he's not writing it because of the strike.
Oh, of course, yes. He's
right.
Obviously.
Okay, so it's Holzimon and Reno. Okay, all right. Is that what it is? Like you guys like walk around like Montreal and like, you're his pet, and he's like trying to, you get into like crazy hijinks. Like all of a sudden, Holzimon just gets off the leash, and Reno's like, "Oh no, Holzimon, why you come back, Holzimon? Oh, no, I gotta chase after this stupid American dog. I don't know why I brought this back to the country. You should have bought the French Canadian dog. Nice little poodle, woo wee wee, nice little fluff fluff. No, I got to get the stupid Pokemon, Holzimon. Yes, fluff fluff, nice little poodle. Yes, nice poodle is nice, fluffy dog, French dog, nice, like me, Reno. Yes, blah blah blah."
Oh, it's not like that at all, actually. Just wanted to let you know.
Like me, Reno, blah blah blah. Stupid Holzimon, why you always gonna run away? You always come back. I have food for you. It's your home. You leave your home. Oh, Holzimon, stupid dog.
So.
Someone, oh man, Ryan Lauer found. Oh, he went to some Batman in concert thing.
He did. I saw that. Yes.
He met someone who was a fan of our show actually, and a fan of his. Well, when he started talking, and apparently, when I called you Holzimon, he almost drove off the road or something. Something of that nature, spit out the coffee or whatever he was in the car. And he was just like, I lost it at that point. So I thought that was funny. I was like, oh wow, Holzimon's a big hit. Holzimon's a big hit.
It is. So we have to go with it. If we have enough support behind it, how could we not create a show around it? So
I don't need support. I can go with anything. I'm just gonna roll with it.
It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
People love the Holzimon.
I love it too, of course.
He's so miserable.
I love it.
Oh dear.
So one thing that the writer's strike has not impacted is Superman Legacy, which will apparently start shooting next year.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so James Gunn, there's a video on Wired, and James Gunn and Sean Gunn were talking, and and it's scheduled to start shooting in January. So of course we know it's going to relaunch the DCU. It's going to do all of that stuff post Flash.
We've got to get a casting announcement soon if they're shooting next year, right?
Yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, as long as everything stays on course, the writer's strike doesn't impact it for rewrites or whatever.
Right, he's got to be like what, auditioning?
But yeah, I would assume I would definitely assume he's in talks with people to play the role. Maybe sometimes they cast around the main character first. So maybe they'll do that. Maybe we'll hear about a Lois or a Jimmy or, someone like that, or whoever the villain's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think it's going to be Lex, but who knows?
We'll see. I personally don't want it to be. I'd love to stay away from Lex for a movie or two. But
I would think you'd have to go lower level though, like less supernatural for the first one. But it is the gods and the story is gods and monsters, right? So maybe not. Maybe I'm completely off base in my thinking.
Monsters. I don't know. Fighting Parasite, Lobo. Like who's he fighting? Who's a monster?
That's what I mean. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they'll do Zod again. So
Parasite.
That's way too soon.
Because with someone like with Tallow, you need Lex to give Metallo his heart, right? He needs the kryptonite heart.
Unless he keeps
Cyborg Superman, that's way too advanced for an introduction.
Unless he keeps it Earth-based. Like it's not
a main... has like a Donner montage of various crimes that Superman. Oh, yeah. I'm sure the internet's gonna love when they roll with that. Make sure you got the John Williams theme too. This way it'll really piss them off.
I was joking with Carlos yesterday about we were talking about the Fast franchise because apparently this is news, but apparently the finale is going to be 3 parts as opposed to 2.
Actually, the end credit scene got spoiled all over the internet, and no one seemed to care.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I am not.
You haven't seen, but do you know what it's about?
No.
Oh, well, good for you then, because it was everywhere yesterday, and I was like, wow.
Well,
Like,
I know who shows up in the movie. Yes.
okay, all right, there you go.
That I know. That was impossible to. I mean, the rap is the is a trade, and they blew that open.
They
that wide
did.
open. Yeah. So
Someone's like, I gotta make my money back.
We were joking about the Fast franchise, as you guys know, I'm a fan, and about Vin Diesel himself, and I said, wait until Gunn casts Diesel as Lex Luthor in the Superman movies.
Oh god!
How crazy would people go if that happened?
Oh, they'd go insane.
That would be nuts.
Oh my god, that'd be funny.
It would be.
You know, I'm behind on Superman and Lois, but the character of Bruno Mannheim has been portrayed in the series recently.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad place to start with Superman. You know, if you're talking low level, want to kind of reintroduce him. You know, Bruno's a sleazy. Yeah, obviously, you know who you watch this show. I tend to lean more towards the Superman the animated series, but that leads you need a little bit more cosmic effect. But you could definitely do something low level, maybe non-supernatural with Mannheim. Maybe he's more of a secondary villain or something like that. But that's a character who's been portrayed very well recently, and it's just fresh in my mind.
Well, the way Nolan pulled Scarecrow, right? Like something like that. Scarecrow.
I mean, it was great how Scarecrow was the character who showed up all 3 movies.
Yep. So maybe something like that. He pulls one of the less supernatural Superman villains and pulls there. I mean, obviously, everyone immediately thinks Lex. So
this may not even be like a traditional Superman movie. Like we instantly are just kind of gravitating towards that. But what if this is like some multiversal thing? Like Superman Legacy could. Well, I don't know. I just get like vibes of like various versions of Superman and like the legacy part, like what the history of the character stuff. Like I don't know. I feel like it could be a multiversal thing.
It could be
because that's also very popular right now.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's not an origin. Like he told us already, it's not an origin story. So
it's just kind of like it's like we're just kind of like taking place. So like we don't really know what it's about. So I'm kind of interested. That's the best part. Like you have no clue. You don't know what he's doing.
I know. That's the crazy and great thing is we don't know what exactly he's doing. So one thing that we know is not connected to DCU is the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman story that we heard about, obviously under the previous administration. And he said that Gunn said this is still possible. It's still something that's in play, and it would exist alongside the Superman Legacy movie. So what do you think about that still being an option?
I'm still wait and see on this movie because I figured they were going to pick a Superman movie, and I think they did. I think they picked James Gunn's Superman movie. I'm still not convinced Elseworlds is a real thing, other than the fact that Joker and the sequel and the Batman and its whole sequels and spinoffs and so on and so forth were already well into pre-production by the time James Gunn took over. So they're not going to, Justice League it and waste all that money and scrap it and then redo something else, right? So I'm still kind of skeptical on what Elseworlds really means. I don't think this Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman movie will ever come to fruition. I think that it was a possibility at one point. I don't think the Michael B. Jordan Superman movie is even going to happen because now that it seems that Zaslav doesn't want to do movies for streaming at all. I think that thing's totally dead because that thing was really connected to HBO Max or whatever the hell it's called now.
It's Max now, yes.
Max Scherzer. So yeah, cool. I'm glad he's saying all the right things. But I'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think having J.J. Abrams behind it, and I think him and Gunn have a relationship. So I think maybe that could be why he's keeping that door open.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I like the Elseworlds idea. because, like we were talking before, it does give you another avenue to tell stories that won't fall into the continuity. So it'd be good to have something like that uh, from a different angle, from a different perspective, just to see a different take on Superman than the one we're being told is part of this larger universe we're going to have now.
And I kind of think it's kind of cool to get like 2 movies on a character, maybe they come out like a year or two apart, that have nothing to do with each other. You know, like there's something cool about Keaton's Batman coming back in the Flash, and then like a year later, the Batman 2 comes out, right? Like it's just,
Yeah,
or whatever the time difference is. It's that's kind of cool to me. I dig that,
I agree.
and I
I
hope
agree.
that the general audience digs it, and it's something that maybe we become a little bit more accustomed to.
Yeah, I do think there, like we said many times, there's so many different versions of these characters that exist already that getting different takes on them, and it's part of how it's done in comics to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be cool to, if you can have, like you said, a different Batman. We're going to have obviously 2 different Batman stories going forward, and we'll have a Superman. Maybe we'll have another one now, and that's fine. And if it,
I was pumped to see Anna DuVernay's New Gods movie if it ever came out. That means more Uxas.
I
And we all
agree.
know I love Uxas.
Yeah, and I mean she's fantastic. So when someone is good, when you have someone good attached to it as well, a good writer, a talented, producer, director, that's even gives you more excitement because you're like, well, I know the effort's going to be there, and it's going to be a well put together thing. Whether it's good or not remains to be seen, and that's based on the person watching it anyway. But I agree with you. I would have loved to have seen that, and who knows, maybe someday we'll get a New Gods in the James Gunn. It seems like something he would do, right? Like that seems like
I think so.
a title he could definitely absorb.
It's already in the title.
Yeah. So that would be
Uxas,
something.
baby. He's back.
I agree. I think that would be a cool thing to do. So,
Uxas.
well, something
Say
that
Uxas,
DC,
Eric.
huh?
Say Uxas.
Uxas.
That's it, baby.
There you go.
There you go.
Something that DC has been good at doing for years is their animated slate, and we've gotten plenty of excellent animated films from them. And we're getting another one, Justice League War World. Sorry, I can't talk today.
War
Yeah.
World? Wally the Walrus
Apparently,
went to War World?
yes. Apparently, it's going to be R-rated. So,
Ooh. Well, there's a lot of people on the internet who are going to be happy about that.
right. And I mean, we've had R-rated before.
What was the one where they kill everybody? What the hell is that one called?
What, Apocalypse War?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one was R-rated. And that was mixed. I liked it. I don't think you did, but I liked it.
I did not like that movie.
Yeah. So it's kind of a mixed reaction, but Justice League Dark was also rated R.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Batman Soul the Dragon, Gotham by Gaslight.
Ooh, I liked all those. Yeah.
The Killing Joke.
I love that one. I don't care about the scene.
And then Suicide Squad Hell to Pay was also R-rated. So
all good movies except for the Apocalypse
War. Yeah.
In my mind.
So,
but this sounds cool. The Trinity basically try to save society from Warworld, and I guess with Warworld you can't. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Warworld.
You're right.
Oh, it's the tongue twister. Warworld.
You're saying it right though.
Yeah, it's my Jersey accent. Yeah, so Warworld, and Mongol can't be too far, and I think this is kind of cool. I'm not one for Batman and aliens, but Superman and Wonder Woman probably gonna be doing most of the heavy lifting. So we'll check it out. I'm excited. I like Warworld.
Well, I mean, in this setting, it works usually when Batman is in with those two. So to me, it's a little bit, it's different than in live action. In animation, it looks different, I think. So
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I'm into this. I do kind of like that they continue along with some. I know some people get upset when cartoons are done. Cartoons for kids are done R-rated, but I do think that
it's clearly not made for kids if it's R-rated. I'm sorry, and it's not.
Exactly, and they know their DC's good at knowing their audience. They know that they have a lot of fans who are adults and they want to watch content that's for them.
These movies are made for kids.
So
these are made for, I'd say, at least like 13-year-old DC fans.
Yep.
Some of them are a little bit more hardcore than others, but I would not say, like, when something DC is made for kids, you know what it is. It's Justice League action, and it's like superhero girls. It's like the animation style is clearly a different style. Even Teen Titans, like that's way more cartoony. When DC stuff is made for kids, it's way more cartoony. Like this direct to TV stuff is not made for children. It's just
yeah. I think in some instances you're right. I think you're 100% correct. This will also follow the continuity of the Tomorrowverse that started with Superman Man of Tomorrow. So it's Superman Man of Tomorrow, then The Long Halloween Part 2 was the other film in there, and now this will be the third film in that Tomorrowverse.
So Long Halloween Part 1 isn't part of the universe?
Yeah,
Is it weird?
I don't know why Part 1 isn't, but I'm going to have to watch it again. And to be honest, I love The Long Halloween. It's one of my favorite Batman stories. I did not like the animated movie that much.
Really? That's interesting. I did. But
so
that's interesting. I wonder
Part 2 was better. Part 1 was a little boring.
I haven't seen the Flash Justice Society World War II movie. I have to go back. I
liked that.
I haven't watched it yet, and I really want to. That's good.
It was pretty good.
I'm trying to think. I think there might be one other I haven't seen, but I've seen those movies that are in the universe. Oh, so we'll see what happens. I liked Man of Tomorrow, except for when Parasite went full Godzilla. I thought it was a little weird. I didn't like that.
That was strange.
I thought the movie was actually great up until those moments.
Oh, well, there we go though. So what was the previous one? Their previous continuity was good too.
That was basically like their version of the New 52.
New 52, right?
Yeah. And then Apocalypse War killed everybody.
Yep. The movie that you hate that I thought was okay.
I wouldn't say I hate it. I just didn't like it. I was like, wow, this is really hardcore.
It was. You know what else was hardcore, which I did not expect, was the Ninja Turtles, Batman Ninja Turtles thing.
I enjoyed the first half. The second half fell off the rails for me.
It was but it was like bloody.
It was
very bloody.
It was interesting.
Yeah, but I did enjoy it. I did. I thought it was well done. I know. Well, yeah, that's his thing, right? He loves him some Ninja Turtles.
He's frolicking all over the turtles right now. So he loves to frolic on turtles.
Well, speaking of frolicking, we are Nick Fury is apparently frolicking in Secret Invasion. So there's an article in Empire about Secret Invasion and focused on Samuel L. Jackson, how he's aged. It's a different kind of a story. It takes place, I believe, between. See, even I'm getting confused now with with the continuity there. But anyway, I'll find out where it takes place. But anyway, there's a 6-hour long episode, so it's only 6 episodes, which I think is I'm a little surprised, but originally it was supposed to be a movie. So,
well, I also think it's going to be heavier. Like I think it's going to be like the heaviest. I think this will make Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of feel like popcorn.
Really?
They mentioned like it's going to be like a Cold War espionage type thing, and I was like, they're not trying to like attract the masses with this. I feel like, there's going to be some people who are just going to find that kind of boring. But I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm down to see what Fury's up to. I like this kind of like aspect of the MCU, the Captain America spy stuff. Like after Winter Soldier, they kind of haven't done anything like that since. He kind of became more. His third film was hijacked as an Avengers movie, and he's been kind of doing more out and about, like public. I want to say more fantastical things.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of tones it down a little bit with that whole like MCU Shield stuff, and I'm down with that.
Yeah, obviously this is a story that obviously focuses around Nick Fury.
Is Maria Hill in this?
Maria Hill, I would assume, is in it.
I have a huge crush on that actress.
Kobe Smulders.
Is that her name?
That is her name, Kobe Smulders. Yeah.
She could smolder me.
Okay. This is not a kid show either, by the way.
No, it's not. And they know this because you try to sell your foot pics on here.
No, you try to sell my foot pics on here.
Well, screw you, Eric. You need some extra money. I can help you. I'm a bad friend. No, I'm a bad friend.
I appreciate it.
You're
but let's not
welcome.
act
All right.
like this is my idea. This is your idea.
Oh, stop! Yeah, like it was my idea to take pictures of your feet and put them on OnlyFans for $3.99 a picture. Final
I didn't.
E33/OnlyFans.com.
I didn't even know how much they cost. So see, there you go. Clearly, was your idea, and you're the
Well,
one running with it.
I'm running the OnlyFans right now, Eric, because you're being a little lazy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what it is? I gotta ask Leia to sneak in while you're sleeping, take pictures of your feet. You know what that's like? You have any idea what that's like?
Oh no,
I have
I
an
don't.
easier
I'm
time talking
sorry.
to Reno than to do that dog.
I really should be more sensitive to your plight.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Can we get back to Nick Fury?
Sure.
So Sam Jackson in Empire spoke about what this is about. So he says all the things, the jacket, the eye patch, the goatee, the leather coat, they're all things that are part of Nick Fury that's invulnerable. But you have a guy here, you have a guy who's showing his face and showing his age. It's an opportunity to humanize someone that everybody thinks is superhuman. Obviously, we know
He's also on the run and has to look different.
right. Well, yeah. He said he had to figure out some other things and work on some new things about the character that he's never had to do before. So that makes it more fun. It's great to have an opportunity to find out who he was and delve into how much of a toll his job actually takes on his personal life. And we get dribs of that, right? Like we got, remember in Captain America, Winter Soldier, he hints towards his family, right? He talks about his grandfather. Right. And then we find out that he has a family, and there's just other things so we've gotten little drips and drabs of his personal life.
Yeah, but like, what still adds up though? Because remember, he talks about the scar at one point, and then all of a sudden he gets scratched by a cat.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not really a cat, right? It's that thingy, whatever.
You tell me. You're the Captain Marvel aficionado.
I don't know what it's called. It's actually called. It's just a creature. I know it's some kind of creature.
Kitty.
So yeah. So I really can't wait for this. I've been waiting. This is I'm
very excited. I don't actually know what I'm more excited for, this or Daredevil, to be honest. Like the hype level for both.
Yeah.
And I don't really like the Secret Invasion book. I read it. It took me a long time, like, oh, dude, I know you read everything, asshole. Why don't you shut your mouth? And then, like, I read it recently, and I actually didn't enjoy it as much as I thought, because I remember being hyped up relentlessly that summer. But yeah, I read it, didn't enjoy it. But I'm excited for this TV show.
Yep. And he speaks a little bit about his future in the MCU, and Jackson says that he hopes he's still around. He loves playing the character.
He's not going nowhere.
So
they're not going to kill Nick Fury, and he's not going nowhere.
Yeah, I would not. That would be a bad decision. Having Sam Jackson and stuff just makes it better immediately. So
I feel the same way about Robert Downey Jr. Killing Iron Man was a bad decision. There should still be Iron Man movies. I'm sorry, Ironheart doesn't cut the cake.
Well, I don't even
like Iron Man.
We don't even know yet, though, what Ironheart's going to be.
Yeah. Work on that.
They're clearly moving towards the younger characters. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So. Well, you know what's not obvious?
What?
My interest level.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right. So that's one thing we know is coming. And the other thing we know is coming, obviously, is about a month away now, is The Flash.
Can you believe it, Eric? After everything we've been through, Michael Keaton's Batman's going to return in another hero's movie, and we're actually it's crazy. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's here. It's not even here yet.
I know.
Oh God, this is amazing.
It is though. Like now it's palpable. You guys we all have gotten some merch. I got my statues finally. You guys keep showing me all the toys you're getting from the movie. So we're getting all our merch. Everything seems to be approaching there. I saw a couple shirts I think I want to buy.
Dude, and the thing is, like, I cannot wait to rub it in the face of the people who doubted the resurgence of Michael Keaton and what his Batman will do for this movie. Like, I am looking forward to not only the film itself, but really just salt on somebody's wounds who just doubted Keaton's return or downplayed it because they're propping up somebody else's propaganda and lies. Like, I'm just the true classic Batman is coming back, and he's going to show these people like how amazing he is and what that movie meant, and that's why he's the one who's returning. It's oh God, it's so good. I can't. Oh God, I love good egg on face.
That is the thing that just for me anyway, to be able to say, look, the movie's here. Because there's always been people saying that we're never going to see this movie. This movie's never going to come out.
I thought it was cursed.
And yeah, but
I did. I really did.
It actually is coming, guys, in a month. It literally, it's May 13th. It's June 16th that it opens. So
I think I had to take off work, the 15th? Correct? Because that's the day the movie's going to really come out. It'll come out like 7 p.m. the night before, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to get tickets to an early screening.
When are they? Because I worked at nights. That's why. That's why I got to take a day off.
Well, if I get tickets to an early screening and it's enough time, I'll let you know and you can roll.
All right. As long as it's not on the island. If it's in Manhattan, that's easier for me.
Usually they are. So,
I'd like to do one of those.
Yeah, usually when those are done in the larger theaters in Manhattan. So
yeah, because I'm not I know I'm really good at avoiding stuff but I'm not taking chances with Keaton's Batman. I'm not letting some idiot with acne ruin it for me.
Well, the biggest controversy going into it, obviously, is this Ezra Miller status. We know about the troubles he had, and the production designer on the film, Paul Austerberry, recently spoke, and he says he's not sweating it, and he feels that people will forget about Miller's history when the film releases. So this is something that you have said too, Pete, in the past, that by the time this comes out, people will probably be less, care about that less.
I think one, he's not a big enough star for it to even really matter. Two, people are going to forget. Three, the movie's going to be a huge hit. And four, Jonathan Majors is probably going to steal all the negative publicity.
He's not in the movie though.
Exactly. But people are going to be talking about his domestic violence case rather than what Ezra did like 3 years ago.
Well,
it's just a new negative topic to talk about is what I'm saying. Like they've got something else horrible to speak of. So their minds are focused on that. And it's not on Ezra because it's like, all right, well, he already did his time for stealing vodka and gin out of his neighbor's pantry.
Yes.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, this guy stole somebody's liquor cabinet. Well, this guy's supposedly beating somebody else. The focus is clearly going to be on the other case. Majors is a bigger star.
Yeah, he is.
Marvel, Creed, I'm just saying he is. Fantastic Beasts is not a worldwide sensation, but MCU's huge exposure and Creed's Creed. That's a monster franchise in itself. Majors on top of the game. Everyone wants Majors in everything.
It's true.
The people want Miller around are DC, some DC fans. That's it. I don't think anybody really cares about them.
You're right. No, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like I don't know how it's going to impact it, but I feel like it's been far enough removed now, and Miller has been out of the news for a while now that I don't think it'll be as big a problem as maybe it would have been had they not gotten their help and continued going forward.
And with the way things go in the world, something stupid's going to happen before then, and no one's going to care anymore. They're going to be focused on that. Like, it's just that life moves on.
Yep, that's for sure.
Time heals all wounds, right?
So Austerberry does continue to talk about in his interview. He continues to talk about the challenge. One of the challenges of the Flash, he said, was the trick was to make sure that it looked more modern than the original one. So he's talking about Batman, but it still had to harken back to certain design cues from the original. So he said, we're designing these things and designing the film for the big screen. This is a big screen movie going experience. I hope most people see it on the big screen. This kind of movie is made for the multiplex. It's made for the big spectacle.
Good. Okay, wait to see it. Let's go.
So
show tomorrow.
So yeah, seriously. The closer you get, like the more you anticipate it. So now that it's really like a month away, you're like, all right, let's just get here already. I don't want to fast forward life. But
I can't wait to see Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller and John Wesley Shipp fighting the Dark Flash in this movie. I don't know what's going to happen, but it'd be cool if it did.
Pete just
it'd be funny.
Pete just broke a story. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. All three live action Flashes. That'd be cool.
We just saw it in Spider-Man, so I guess it would fit. All right, so we have some casting news as well. We'll move over on some casting news. Carl Urban is in final talks to play Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2 at New Line Cinema. I'm a little surprised that they went with someone this old.
I'm
not that he's old, but he's older than the rest of the cast that was in the first one.
Yeah, Johnny Cage is a weathered action star. I feel like it's
So
fitting, right? He's supposed to be
yeah,
at the end of his career, right?
that's true. Yep, that's true. So, I mean, I did not like the first one. So
I didn't either. I thought the fights were cool, but I didn't like the movie, especially the
right,
new character. I thought the new character sucked.
but I do. What this will do is, obviously, Carl Urban's been in The Boys now, so it might bring more fans to see the sequel, like having him in it.
Maybe. I don't know.
People
I mean, I like
aren't.
Carl Urban. I like Johnny Cage. So, I mean, here's the thing. I'll check out a Mortal Kombat movie, but it's like going to it's kind of like, I feel like the experience is kind of be Gods and Monsters. Like I was like, oh, cool. The movie sucks, but the monster fights are cool. That's
Right.
kind of what I feel with, like, oh, the action fight, the choreography was good, but the actual plot is like paper thin.
Well, we better get a freaking tournament in this one.
Yeah, we didn't even get the tournament.
No, we didn't get a
I like the one
tournament
from
in the first
'95
one, so-
better.
Well, that one has like a legendary techno soundtrack if you like techno music.
It's great.
So yeah, so
It
that
is
has
great.
that attached to it. And in other news, Beetlejuice 2, man, is happening, and they keep adding people to
Batman,
it. So
the Green Goblin, and a Scream Queen, dude. It's crazy.
yes, so Monica Bellucci also will be appearing in Beetlejuice 2. As Pete just mentioned, Willem Dafoe also has been added to the cast. We already know that the original Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara are back. Justin Theroux was also added to the cast. Pete just mentioned Scream Queen, of course, Jenna Ortega from Scream and Wednesday. So, man, this cast is really filling out, and you know what that means. Obviously, Beetlejuice is a classic. It's a Burton classic.
I'm very concerned. I don't know. Tim Burton hasn't really had it recently. I can't remember
I know.
a good movie, to be honest. I'm drawing blanks here, guys.
I know Dumbo was terrible.
Yeah, and that had the Penguin. Basically,
Yeah.
Batman Returns too. Yeah, so I'm kind of worried about this. But I'm excited to see the set design and the costumes. I wonder if Burton still can do vintage Burton in that sense. So there's a lot of like give and take here. I'm just curious how this movie is actually going to turn out.
I agree. It remains to be seen. But like I said, with this kind of a cast, you're definitely upping the stakes. So it better be good. That's all I'm saying. Is better be good.
Better be filet mignon and not skirt steak. Even as good as skirt steak is, I want filet mignon.
It's a little rougher, right? Filet mignon's nice, easy to chew, tender piece. I'm with you there. So we also have news from comics. Some comic news. So Jim Lee, I thought who everybody knew, but apparently not everybody does.
Who doesn't know Jim Lee?
Remember when that whole thing was going on and someone was like, who the heck is Jim Lee?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Oh, I forget
This had to be somebody who has a podcast and runs their mouth like a moron.
I forget the story it was around. But Jim Lee his name was added to something, or he spoke on something, and someone was like, who the heck is Jim Lee anyway? And I was like, oh, okay. Well,
interesting.
Well, what he is now is the president, publisher, and chief creative officer of DC Comics. So
it's funny how this writer that they kind of stole from Marvel,
I know,
has just climbed up the rankings and is now running the show.
I know.
Bit of a bummer because I miss Jim Lee books. I miss the abundance of Jim Lee art that I used to get as a child. But no, there are other artists out there that are filling that void, fortunately. So good for Jim, good for his family. I hope he's making a ton of money.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, I mean, his catalog is legendary. I mean, I've gotten to meet him at a couple of the cons. A very nice guy, very welcoming, always gracious to the people who come talk to him. He loves the fans. He interacts with people all the time. So couldn't have happened to a better guy. So congratulations to
You
Jim
have
Lee.
his phone number, right? Like, he knows you're the champion of Long Island.
I do not have his phone number now.
I thought you did. I thought you told me he gave you his phone number at
No,
Comic-Con 2018.
no, he did not.
Oh.
It was a sad day of my life, but he did not give
Like
me.
he said no? Like you gave
So,
it to him and he said no thank you? Or
yeah,
he rejected you?
we were talking about doing a little bit of a book on something I had in mind, but it fell through. So
Was he gonna illustrate the Holzimon book?
this Holzimon book wasn't in process yet. It wasn't.
Oh, this was something
thought.
different. Okay.
This was something different.
Well, you know who never turns down your phone number? That's Sally Testerberger. She loves you.
Oh, she's the best.
She is. She's
Uh-huh.
a wonderful Polish woman.
Anyway, more DC news. In comic news, Wonder Woman is getting a daughter. Tom King has created a new Amazonian. Is that how you say it? I guess.
Amazon. They're Amazons.
That's true. Yeah.
She's an Amazon. A new Amazon.
Yeah. I don't know why I created that word. You're 100%
Amazonian.
Her name is Trinity. There we go. So, what do you think about this, Pete?
Wait, that's her superhero name. What's her real name? It's what the hell is? I read the article.
Hold on, yeah, I'll find it.
I forgot it. But this is interesting. I mean, one, she's also like 21 off the bat, so I don't think Steve Trevor's been getting it in. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Unless this is another molded by clay situation, I'm very curious how this girl gets born.
Yeah, right.
I think it's interesting now that the Trinity all have kids now, right? Like,
yeah,
it's finally happened.
Yeah,
they all have their spawns running around, which is interesting. We'll see how it plays out in the stories in the monthlies. But I'm very curious. Cassie Sandmark, people forget her. She was a wonderful Wonder Girl. Yara, she had a good run. It was short lived. Donna Troy, that was a fun experience. You can try to figure out her continuity on your own. It's a very messy situation. But Trinity, let's see what she brings to the table here. I don't know.
So I'm trying to. Yeah, why can't I find her name?
Then they said it wasn't.
They did say what her real name was.
Yeah, you know where? I bet you it's in the thing here.
Or her non-superhero name.
Let's see.
I don't know.
But what do you think? Are you going to start reading Wonder Woman? Try to get into it?
No, I'm not. I'm not even gonna lie. But
Lizzie, Elizabeth. Her real name's Elizabeth.
There you go.
Goes by Lizzie.
So yeah, I mean, these Wonder Girl has had all these different kinds of iterations, as you just mentioned.
I just bought a Wonder Girl book the other day, actually, believe it or not.
So is that who she's going to be?
No, this is a new character. Trinity's a new character. I bought this Cassie Sandmark story from 07 this week.
She has 3 lassos. That's the one interesting thing I noticed. And it looks like the lasso of truth, and then the other 2 don't. One is blue and one is like silver or white.
Well, when Artemis was Wonder Woman for a while, she had a different lasso, I believe. And then I believe Hippolyta, she was a Wonder Woman after the continuity recreation. She had a different lasso. So I think there were 3 lassos at one point. So that's interesting. Good call, Eric. Look at you. People say you don't care about the comic books. Look at that. Look at you noticing things.
I know enough to get by. I can say that. I know enough to
Can you decipher one of those Zack Snyder t-shirt graphics and tell me what that means?
Oh, God. No. You mean the... What is it? What are those things called? Cryptogram. Looks like a cryptogram.
Cryptogram? Yeah, I have no idea what it means, but I would like anyone who has a t-shirt, could you please tell me what that means?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Daddy Bats bought one. I'll have to ask him to translate.
We can actually. You need someone who thinks like Snyder to explain it to us.
I'm going to ask Daddy Bats.
So, all right. I think that's it. I think we're at the end of the run.
Oh, one more thing. Back to comics.
Yes.
There's Steel has a new book out, so make sure you all support that book and buy it. It's called Steelworks. I think John Henry Irons has kind of been what's it called? Been given a second chance here since Superman and Lois. I think it's kind of brought the character back to popularity because I don't think I've seen John Henry since the Lana Lang Superwoman book a while ago. So I think it's been a few years. So I'm excited. It's called Steelworks, John and Natasha. Make sure you check that out. Because I'm really excited. I love Steel as a character, and it's kind of a sin that we haven't gotten that character in any Superman film. Like it should be easy to spin off Steel from Superman. It should be, I always thought of Man of Steel, you could have had somebody saving people from the rubble, and that person would be John Henry Irons, and then you could have moved on from there. I think we've got to move on from Shaq. Desperately need to move on from Shaq, even after all these years later. Please.
Well, yeah, I mean the version of him that's on Superman and Lois is pretty cool. So
it's good. He just looks like the Master Chief from Halo, but it's good.
Yeah, he does. But it's a pretty cool iteration. I think Wole Parks plays him well. So
great. No issues with all by the acting. It's all about the suit. And can we please put an S on his chest before the end of the series? Can we give him a cape and put an S on his chest?
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about that, but that was in the news this week as well.
I haven't seen it. I'm behind. I'm 2 episodes.
No, not Superman and Lois, but that the network has to make. CW is apparently making a decision between Gotham Knights and Superman and Lois.
One more time for the back. One more time for the back, please. A little louder.
I said the network possibly will have to make a decision on which show to keep, Gotham Knights or Superman and Lois.
Kowalski. That's right. The show that everyone loves to talk about, but no one apparently watches, is going to take down the Man of Steel.
I hope not, because God, that show is terrible.
Is fun. Stop. It's bad, but it's fun.
Terrible.
Yeah, but but you can just watch it, and it's not good. No one's saying this is The Sopranos. The kids are bad actors. But guess what? They're trying. They're only kids.
Dude, it's
Harvey Dent's getting it in. Come on. I didn't think that Mr. Collins had it in him, but he's got it in him. Literally. My man is going hard. He's like, oh, your husband's dead? Let me just slip right in the DMs. Come on.
They were together before he died.
That's fine. But he still got it. Woo. The DA got some D.
I will say, and I said this, I texted it, I think might have been to you and Steve, but I did text this the other day that the themes and the plot lines that they're trying to do in this show, I think are fantastic. And if they got someone better to do them, they could really work out a little
Natalie
more.
Abrams fan. Okay.
But I mean, just the execution and God, man, it's tough.
The fight choreography is rough. It's rough. No, but I'm enjoying it.
It's a
weird. I'm really enjoying it.
Hour of television, and again,
it's not rough stuff. Oh my God!
It's not made for me at all. I know that. So
it's not made for me either. I'm so fun.
Right, I got to keep that in the back of my mind. Like this is clearly made for a younger audience. So
but the references are great too. They throw in so many references.
They do
hardcore. They
do throw in a lot of references. Yes,
I think they have a room where they're like, okay, these are the references we want to use. Can we write the show around?
Right, that by like having Dr. Chase Meridian in it.
Yeah. Oh God.
And
I want more people to be like Steve. Take the stick, pull it out of your ass, and just sit down and just watch the show. Like
I'm watching it. I am. I have watched every episode.
I give you credit because it's like, but don't shun it like oh, this is like. It's not that bad. Like
it's not that good.
It's not that good, but. You can enjoy it. It's like one of those things that you watch and you can enjoy it because it's bad. Like Gotham, I couldn't enjoy it all. Batwoman tried very hard. At least that had like a lot of bad aspects. This doesn't have like a lot of bad aspects, but things that were Batman-ish. They're different shows. I think Batwoman is probably like the season 3 at least would probably be. It's a better show in terms of writing and like how it interacts with the continuity. But this just seems to be like. They're having fun with it. Like, I don't, like it's different. Like I enjoy it more than I do Batwoman, although I think Batwoman's better. Like I know I'm comparing and shit stains.
Well, no, I mean, I hear what you're saying because the liberties they take on the show really remove it from any kind of accuracy.
It's also easier to watch. It's its own world.
Yes, it's easier to watch because you're not expecting to see things that exist. That's why you said like the references that they put in are cool because they're a stretch on what we know anyway.
Oh, they're so stretched.
Right. So it's cool that they put them in there. I agree with that. Like if you're a purist, you can watch this show and be okay with it because it's so out of bounds anyway. It doesn't matter. But it's just not good. Like it's hard to watch. I've been watching it. I have stayed up to date on it. I am up to date now. I've watched every episode.
I think it's much easier to watch than Titans.
But well, this season of Titans was tough. Yes,
This season of Titans is not good.
It was
I
tough.
have to catch up on the end. I haven't seen the end of that either.
but
I
yeah,
got
I'm
MLB The
way
Show for my
behind.
birthday, and that's taken up a lot of my time
So
because I think I'm a better GM than Cashman, and I think I've proven myself already against the computer.
all right.
I
Well,
bought the game. The first thing I did was trade Donaldson, Hicks, and IKF.
okay. Now, do you have the setting on that the computer can say no?
They accepted the trade. Yeah, it's
Okay,
weird.
all right.
It's weird how the computer works because like a lot of it's just like you throw in like 2 minor leaguers, and it's like, oh, 3 players for 1 here. This is great.
Yeah, that's true.
And in return, I got Evan Longoria.
Oh wow,
I traded Donaldson to the Diamondbacks for Evan Longoria. They're very
That's
even
fair.
players in the game. And then I traded Hicks and like Franchi Cordero to Cleveland for Stephen Kwan because I love Stephen Kwan. And then I also traded I traded Higashioka away to Cleveland. And then I brought back Gary Sanchez,
Oh, who's now a Met?
who's now a Met, but he was in the Giants farm system.
Yeah,
And he can still hit. Like he's been hitting a bunch of home runs. So I've been having fun with Gary Sanchez.
that's.
I should bring back Chapman too.
Oh wow.
I should trade for Joey Gallo and Sonny Gray. I should bring back all of Cashman's failures and win a World Series virtually. That will show him.
and then send it to him.
Send it to him. Like, I did what you couldn't do, you bum. I only paid $60 for this team.
Oh.
No.
Well,
It's
on that note,
That's it. That's the end of the show.
that is the end of the show. So, Pete, tell them where they can find you.
First of all, I would like to thank all of my Instagram followers, all 11,000 of you. For in under a year, I've gained 10,500 followers. It's been really weird. So if you love Hasbulla, check out my Instagram page on social media. I'm all over the place at Pete Illustrated on Twitter, Instagram, Mastodon, and Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Vero. You can follow this podcast, the podcast you're listening to right now, Straight of Gotham at straight_O_G on both Instagram and Twitter, and on Facebook. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. Consider joining both. I'm all over BatmanOnFilm.com. I got reviews, interviews, and all that stuff on YouTube and on BOF Proper. I make a monthly appearance on the Batman Book Club with Mr. Ryan Lauer. I have a side podcast with Nicholas and Nico Caruso, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition, at Italians for Spidey on Twitter. Check that out. And I'm, just running around New Jersey, screaming the word of Uxas and Hezbollah. So.
All right. Thank you, Pete. As you guys know, you can find me on Twitter at Finally33, spell Finale33. As Pete mentioned, hit us up on our Facebook page and join our Facebook group. We really have to do more in there, but definitely.
I can't do any more than I already do.
So, but not with articles. We have to do stuff. I don't know.
You do stuff. I can't do enough with the articles.
All right. Yeah.
I don't have time.
I have to put up more stuff in there. I will say that. I'll take the responsibility for that.
And not about ketchup and salt, about real things. No one wants to talk about olives.
I only did it for hot sauce that one time, and
you did an olive thing at one point. Was on Twitter? I don't know. It's hard to keep up with your random polls.
I don't know.
There's like Black Sox or White Sox, guys. What's better? I'm like,
no. That I would not do. That I would not do. Well, yeah, I'll definitely start. Yeah, I'll start doing more in that group and getting engaging, bringing people in. But thank you again, everyone who follows us, obviously on Twitter, on Facebook, both of our personal accounts and the show account. We appreciate all the love. it's fun interacting with people who have similar interests as you do. So this is always fun, and that's why we do it. So again, but definitely join the group. And if you're in the group, you guys can post things too.
I'm Steve Helm. Stop talking like this. Let me tell you what I post things negative all the time. I buy things, post about this whole time. Speaking all this, people birthday. I'll tell you what, Steve Helm takes. Bye.
Whatever Pete just said.
That was Steve from Texas.
Thanks. And yes, Steve has been posting Gotham Knights reviews every episode. So if you guys are interested, if you guys are watching the show, definitely interact with him there.
Steve acts like we said, like, you have to prove that you watched the show in order to be on the recap show. And he's like, all right, I'll prove it. And I was like, no, dude, you already got the chair. It's red. It's waiting for you. Yes.
When Gotham Knights finishes this season, and maybe forever, we don't know, but when it finishes this season,
when it dethrones Superman and Lois,
which should be crazy if that happened, we will be doing a review show with Steve on the show for the season 1. So we'll probably be the only people doing that show, doing a review on the show.
The definitive home for Gotham Knights coverage.
Yes, it will be us, but we will be doing a review show. So look out for that. As you guys know, as we talked about before, I do a show about the New York Knicks called All Nicked Up. On Twitter, it's at all_Nicked_up. You can interact with me there to talk anything about New York Knicks if you are fans.
Are you going to do like a season recap show?
Yes, we'll be doing our season recap show this Wednesday, and then our outlook on the off season. So we're going to do a recap. And then since the Knicks don't have a first round pick this year, they traded it for Josh Hart. I don't know what we're going to be doing for the draft. So we'll see, unless the Dallas pick 11 or higher. If it's 11 or higher, we get it. So if that happens, then we will have something to talk about in the first round pick in the draft. But if not, there'll be nothing to talk about there. So, but anyway, look out for the the season recap show, which will be coming this upcoming Wednesday night, May 17th, I think so. So definitely look out for that there. I think that's it. Unless you have anything else, Pete.
LeBron James.
Yeah, we're not talking about him. So.
That's all I got. LeBron James.
All right. So on that note, for Pete, I'm Eric. You are listening to Straight Out of Gotham, and I will see you next time.
Booyah.